Hi, this is Pat Johnson, your sociology instructor. In this mini lecture, we're going to talk about the concept of subcultures. Now, I live in the United States of America, and that's the only country I've been a citizen of. And we can talk about American culture. We can also talk about cultures of other societies. But within any culture, there are subcultures. So subcultures are cultures within a culture. They have values and norms distinct from those of the majority. They're held by a group within a wider society. So even though I'm part of American culture, I belong to a few subcultures. And you do too. You may just not realize it. When I teach a seated class, hopefully sometimes students talk to each other before and after class. Once in a while I'll overhear two gamers talk about whatever game they've been playing lately. And I quickly realize that gaming is a subculture that I'm not part of and I don't understand. It has its own language, it has its own different norms. It is a subculture that only those who partake in that activity truly understand. As I record this video, the World Cup is going on. And those of you who follow the World Cup, maybe participated in soccer as a child, you understand that subculture. I don't understand soccer hardly at all, and so when I'm listening to people discuss the World Cup, or I'm sitting in a living room with other people who are watching the World Cup, I immediately realize that I don't understand everything that's going on, and they're using terminology that I don't understand. If you are a Marine or in another branch of the armed forces, that's a subculture too. And so I have more knowledge of the Marine Corps subculture than I do gaming and soccer. But I'm not an active duty Marine, but I understand the language. To a certain extent, I understand the behaviors. That's something that I've experienced in my life, and so while I'm on the edges, I do understand a little bit of the Marine Corps subculture. Other subcultures that I'm more familiar with are long distance running and hiking. And you may think, well, those are just activities. But if you've ever listened to people who are really involved in long distance running, who have run marathons or halves or ultras, and they talk about splits and their training and intervals and their pace and having negative splits and goo and all the other lingo that goes with long distance running, you might quickly realize that, well, you don't understand everything about it, and they're talking about something you're not totally familiar with. The same goes with if you are of a ethnicity that is not the majority. If you are of a racial group or come from a different country, you are part of a subculture and you understand things about that group that the rest of us don't understand. Similarly, different religious groups could be considered subcultures. I'm a Catholic, Christian, and so when I talk to other people who are Roman Catholics, we have language and behaviors, norms that not everybody, even those who are Christians who are of Protestant denominations, don't necessarily understand and find a little bit confusing or perplexing. So think about what subcultures you belong to. Think about what subcultures you've encountered that have been a little bit mysterious to you. And get to know other people's subcultures. They are cultures within the greater culture, and they can be pretty interesting.